Mhm.
Okay.
Hello, I would like to introduce my paper called Network Design using a Platform Approach and Network Cooperation Housing Design, Formation and Revitalization of a Living Environment, Participation Complexity Approach. I am Rybakov Sergey, a PhD Associate Professor with the Department of Architecture and Urban Planning. So network methods of cooperation, implementation practices, decentralized systems, cyberization emerging today in common sectors of the economy can have an effect in housing and renovation. And changes on the 21st century can form new systems and design techniques that contribute to the individualization and new understanding of housing. So in this presentation, 3 cases will be considered, which illustrate network methods. Um, as an introduction, the 20th century formed its own problems for specialist mass housing, creation of new cities and districts. A homogeneous large-scale urban fabric was created, functionalism was used, and the major resettlement programs were launched. Specific design methods, building systems, management models were formed for these tasks. They were the result of both internal evolution of architecture and the influence of changes in the society and its ideas itself. So from the Germany, Italy, USA, and others. The 21st century poses its own complex problems. Renovation of territories begins. Renovations has its own specifics and reveals for its effectiveness the need for deep city studies, territory examination, a comprehensive analysis of social, cultural aspects, and it gives its own specifics and problems such as rethinking the urban fabric. The city is now viewed not as a center of functional zones, geometry of factories and smoky chimneys with population's labor force, but spatially expressed people relationship. The example is the renovation of city of Belozersk, social cultural morphotypes and zones of activity of urban communities, cultural and linguistic analysis illustrated here. This is one of our renovation too. So the profound changes are taking place in relation to the social aspects, the inadequacy of the simplified representations of the 20th century, the real complexity of life is recognized. New terms such as advocacy planning and open design, inclusive observation, mental maps are emerged. More complex studies cause changes in the conceptual apparatus of the profession. The concept of living environment as a synthetic category capable of embodying and comprehensively describing the result of architect's activity. Habitation as a synthesis of functional, social, and psychological processes are manifested. The objects themselves are becoming more complex. Mixed-use development structures appears, various hybrid dwellings. Renovation requires engineering adaptation of structures. We can see here. So the living fabric is changing in general. The understanding is consolidated that dwelling, first of all, is a relationship between people and the environment, arising from the most common actions of everyday life. The idea of the city and dwelling as obedient modeling objects is replaced by a consideration of them as a complex social spatial organisms. So all this complexity requires its own design tools. The traditional methods of the 20th century were effective for solving problems of large-scale environment creation. Changes of the 21st century, new infrastructure and roles, informatization practices, and decentralized systems, network systems, the very new ideas of the so-called new economy imagined today can have an effect in housing and renovation. So an experimental project was carried out jointly with universities, foundations, school of residents, The development of the idea of a linear environment using the network methods, network cooperation of many actors was set, and the opportunities and new collaborations that IT environment offers, platform formats was set. So the three cases. First case is a contrast with the traditional methodology design of dwelling with communities in IT environment. The exciting is existing in one of our cities residential complex, River Quarter, created by using a traditional technology, was taken. The idea was what would have happened if it was built not according to the traditional, but according to the network method of cooperation of specialists together with real residents living in this complex. The development was carried out jointly with the local community of the excited housing. They were invited to participate in the design progress. Here you can see the tasks that we work out, and network distribution made it possible to include many specialists and form teams for specific tasks to test various methods of division of roles and cooperation beyond the usual vertical command chains. The possibilities of that cooperation roles were studied, various formats of cooperation of specialists as well as specialists and people were developed, such as the ideas of MVDV were used when the object was divided into many parts, which were carried out individually, while the platform maintains the general contractor functions. The method of quick commons was used to solve technical problems, complex methods of creations, variants of participations of people in the design, which you can see in the page below. In general, various methods of participation of many people in progress and teams were worked out. On this basis, a residential complex was being built, and a model of housing individualization was developed, which is moved from a structure of many standard cells to a variety of individualized environments. So methods for obtaining the resultant from the variety of individualized desires was done. They include practices from IT and BIM algorithms to entering rental apartments, like intermediate between individualized solutions. Network and platform approaches provided cooperation and speed, the ability to form the various collaborations and structures. And IT methods that we are used allowed to simulate complex connections in the structure of housing using algorithms to remove complexity. A design process was developed on this basis from the pre-design stage to apartment, an analysis of territory and restrictions, etc. And the dialogue context with people include not only chat format, but interaction and graphical interfaces were developed. So the viewpoints and concept, scheme of the design process and general form. The facades were developed jointly with the people who choose the principal simple geometry with few bright accents. So here we are. The yard was developed through the program by the residents themselves. The proposals for the yard were developed jointly through the platform and program. We used special graphs method. Everyone gave the suggestions for functions and locations. Then all big data were summed up programmatically. Patterns were found and general scenario were worked out. So the complex has become a laboratory for developing different methods that are exciting today. And a construction management model was developed. It supposes the division of the project into many developers, contractors, and network competing among builders. The residential complex turned out to be housing for people and by the people. with various spaces and architecture, terraces on the ground floor, green areas, individualization of the environment, chamber private courtyards, and a large pedestrian zone. So the second case is a residential complex, which includes a game with different forms of individualization. The idea of individualization is not considered as a simple concept, but deeply. Various types and methods of individualization that exist nowadays are used in the complex. The type of space slicing, open building ideas and methodology. The type of individualization is a school of participation, sets different levels of agreements between residents for organizing the environment, from an individualized apartment among rentals, where there is no need to negotiate, a block of individualized apartments on the floor, where the changes have to be coordinated with the neighbors who also want changes too, and to the design of a common courtyard, all inhabitants' collaborations, and the engineering park, RC inhabitants and district occupants. So the idea of teaching people to control the environment appears as an important function of the residential complex, stimulating democratization and using it as a method for solving problems of the renovation of the degraded environment of one of our cities. IT is used here for decision support and human interaction. Platform role was a database and informational support hub, which helping people with guides, interactions, third-party services to individualize their environment. 2 minutes and that's all. A third case is a renovation of historical object into a mixed-use development, residential with a public park. So here it is. It's a historical complex of 3 buildings, and the task was to renovate it. And a platform approach was used here, and the network ad hoc methods was made. So the interdisciplinary team from the platform community from all over the world was created, more than 40 specialists, architects, designers, sociologists. It allowed to capture many aspects from architecture, social analysis, to the AR system of the facades, making the final solution more comprehensive and high quality for them. So we managed to create mixed-use objects with public park, open to all residents of the city, introduce sophisticated services that work both for the city and for the complex, with a family kindergarten, a cafe, a creative space, housing plus work formats. Block of terraces and ground floor augmented reality for historical and art presentations on the facades, and of course full renovation of historical building was made. And the complex itself, as we plan, becomes a point of growth for the districts. This is AR facade systems which been created. So the team was selected by artificial intelligence, feed-forward neural network we used. It chose 40 specialists more suitable for this task from the 1,000 platform community. So with this AI, IT project coordinations, and large big data volume, such platform approach efficiency was revealed on a multitude of simultaneously carried out of such complex objects, where each has its own requirements, conditions, a variety of forms of citizen participations. So the practice has shown that the use of such network methodology gives us instruments to work with complex renovation problems and effectively create a living environment and solve sophisticated tasks. All 3 examples demonstrate the different variants of usage of network ideas, and these ideas allow to create higher social and architectural quality of the environment. So thank you. You can find me at electronic at email, and that's all.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. And is there any questions here or anything? you want to say or ask. Okay. Actually, I have one thing just curious about it. Can you give us slide about the third example? And I remember there is one thing that there are many participants and on every level. Can you give us the slide about the third example of?
It's first case, yes?
Yeah, yes. For the third case, the third case.
Third case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, just here. There are many people participated in this project, and I see project manager, lead architect, federal restorer, and so on. And how does these people work together? You know, once there are many people coming to this process, and every people's duty is different. The project comes to a very slow pace. You know what I mean? It goes very not that smoothly. But people tell you do this, and other people tell you do this, and how do you cooperate together?
So we used strict guidelines. The project manager is his function to do the project very quickly, and I don't know how to.
It's okay.
I think we not have these problems of long periods of project because the project was very quick. I don't know why, but everyone work very fast.
Okay.
Together.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's come to the next presenter quickly, which is who is the Professor Qing Wang from Guangzhou, and give his speech.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can share my screen because I seldom use this software. How to share it?
You can see. Can you see the bar? On
yes, I can see the bar.
And
yeah.
there is a share screen button. Like, can you see that?
Let me check. On the bottom, right? On the bottom.
It's it should be in the top right next to your camera and mic.
Okay.
You can also click Control Shift E.
Should be. Okay. Mine is the Mac system, so the shortcut is different, right?
Sorry, can I use the Chinese because it is in Chinese words? I suppose.
Yes.
You can.
Yes.
您能发现有一个打开共享托盘的那个按钮？
对 ，Yes, I see.
就在那里面，就在那里面。
但是我打开了，现在您看到吗 ？Can you see it?
Oh, we can't see it. Just you can share. 打开共享托盘，然后里面有个桌面，应该有一个桌面的屏幕。
No, I can't see it. Shit. Do you have my slide? I have uploaded, right, actually.
Yeah, can you, actually, I have no slide here, but I suppose, does the technician have?
Yeah, I have your slides. Just give me a
Okay,
moment.
please.
Maybe you can share for me, right? Sorry about that.
Just give me a moment.
Yes,
Can
this
you
one.
see?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, sorry about that. I very seldom use this software. Maybe I need some setup. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Wang Qing. I'm from the School of Architecture and Applied Arts of Guangzhou Academy of Fine Arts in China. So today my presentation is related to the topic of the CIB W104's topics. It's more related to the regeneration topics, and it's based on the design course actually, and focus on the typical Chinese verdict per unit in Guangzhou. Maybe to the next slide. Yes, my presentation consists of response, the introduction, research questions, the methods, research theoretical framework, design studies, comparison, and the conclusion. Next, please. And maybe I have a brief introduction for the historical development of modern China housing. So actually there is a discussion since 1950s focus on the compact street block model or the modernism slab-type apartment. Actually, at that time, because of the cost and resources limited, the slab-type model appeared to be the best choice as an economic, highly efficient, and universal solutions. Also, during this time, they found a large number of the Danwei units based on the socialism planned market periods. So the Danwei is a very typical Chinese living units combined with working, living, recreation, and other activities. Maybe next slide. Yeah. Next slide, please. And our course and our science lesson will focus on the Pearl Delta area. You can see these pictures. There's a booming urbanization process, especially after 1990s. So also during these periods, a growing number of housing units compiled by different political powers. So it results in the cities being fragmented and composed of neighborhoods with different size and morphological types. Next slide, please. So currently, if we compare with the Western countries, the lifespan of housing in China is only around 30 years. So a further research from Dr. Wang Chen, he revealed that 80% of the cost of the building demolishment are because of the planning and designs. Next slide, please. So the major research question of this paper is that firstly is the Danwei neighborhood has a strong identity of rural morphology, but without local adaptation and the flexibilities. Although in recent years, there's a small, a specific micro upgrading regeneration strategies applied firstly in Guangzhou cities, but it has some problems. Firstly, is dominant by the government, so lack of consideration of diverse needs from the local residents. The second is that the most items are engineering measures. So our course will focus on these research questions. Next slide, please. I will introduce the long-last building series and open building series a little bit. So especially the structuralism proposed after 1960s is kind of a reaction to CIAM's functionalism in the field of urban planning and architecture, especially the Team 10. The key persons like Peter Simpson and Van Eyck, they propose some keywords such as belonging, transitional space in between, together with the concept of growing patterns. It's more focused on the human beings and the history. Next slide, please. So the open building concept proposed by John Hopkins from 1960s is aimed at adapting the diverse requirement of residents and long-term uncertainty. So they believe that the building is viewed as a well-organized combination of systems and subsystems. Next slide, please. Some concepts developed by the Dima Abler from the ETH. So he focused on the building is a kind of process. So we need to correct and complete the information about people, energy, and resources. That we don't see the building as a creation, but a kind of build a building for the over 200 years. So the most important strategy of the open building is the level strategy. This is a classic level division for the open building series. They divide the built environment into the city structure, urban tissue, support, and infill. So this is not only the physical level division, but also the stakeholders and the different group of their cooperation in different levels. Next slide, please. So some similar concepts is proposed by the some different developers and authors, such as the Brandon Sweet. He proposed that the building should be treated as a sharing layer of change. So it's also a very economical process, because when we last the building for a long time, so we will reduce the resources and ignore the unneeded demolishment. Okay, next slide, please. So at the end of our methodology introduction, we divide the built environment into the 4 classic divisions. One is the infrastructure, the second is the load-bearing structure, and the third one is the facade system, and the last one is the function and interior. Next slide, please. So our design course, this paper is based on our design course. This course is one of the important courses before the final project of our school. So they aim to training the students data collection, analysis, design strategy, and applied skills. So in last year, the site selection is at the boundary of the city, where it's near to the CBD area. So in the city level, the confliction are not only addressed in the old city and the new parts in the city level, but also among the different neighborhoods and public domains found in the different history stage. Next slide, please. So we choose 3 student groups who focus on the housing stops by introducing open building series and levels. We can see the side on the right. This side is composed by different neighborhoods and also some public functions like operas and the middle school. Next slide, please. So Group 1 chose the Provincial Cultural Department neighborhoods. It was a gated community mainly consists of departmental employees with high educational and cultural background. But with the development of the CBD to the east and the wholesale market to the north, the community and the surrounding area are declined. And also this gated community started to open for all the societies. So they found out some problems in different levels, such as in the urban tissue level and structural level. The major problems are the lack of parking area and the mix with vehicle and pedestrian, and also lack of public functions. In the facade and interior level, the major problem is the the limitation for the diverse needs of the residents. Okay, next slide, please. So according to the problems and by using the open building and level strategy, in the level 1, the students reorganize the neighborhood public space systems. Vertically, they add some semi-underground vehicle road and parking, giving on-ground space back to the pedestrian. And horizontally, diversify the public functions, especially adding the green and leisure spaces. In the structure level, more public functions will introduce in the first floor plan. Okay, next slide, please. So in the facade level, they apply the platform to collect the big data from the residents at this moment. And they develop a 3 typology combination of facade systems based on the typology itself at this moment. And also in the interior level, the typology of the housing units are based on the facade level and the design of the residents. Next slide, please. So you can see the interior level. They developed diverse housing typology in different plan combinations. The students of this group consider the site as a whole. So they introduced the level strategy for all 4 levels. Next slide, please. For the group 2 students, they choose the Xinghai Music School neighborhoods. It is the site next to the case of group 1, but it maintained the gated community characteristics until now, because the working area of this danwei is separate from the living unit of this danwei. So the residents here have little working relationship with the residents' surroundings. But nevertheless, the transformation outside constantly occurs. So they eventually decide to apply a semi-open strategy by using the level strategy. And also they bring the strong concept of private partnership bureau. So this concept comes from the traditional local Cantonese opera. It's kind of informal performance mode, and it's more relaxed and can be treated as a social gathering space. Next slide, please. So in the level 1, they introduce more functions along the major streets, and also some potential functions on the top of the building. So they develop vertical transportation systems on the facade systems. But in the level 2, the new functions will be introduced inside the first floor of the building. They also create a very leisure and people-friendly communication space in between the street and the neighborhood. Next slide, please. So in the facade level, the most important intervention is to enlarge the balcony a little bit by rotate a little bit small angles. Then they create a kind of communication space between the neighborhood residents inside the neighborhood, because most of the residents live here have the music education background. So they have good desire to communicate with each other. And also one background is that when we decide this site is the most serious periods of the COVID-19. So we are trying to strengthen the communication linkage between the residents inside. But also in the 4th level of the interior, they will have a potential to introduce some public function on top of the building. So that's why they develop the vertical transportation systems from the outside directly, but they also maintain one building's top place only for the residents inside. Next slide, please. So this is the conclusion of the group 2 students. They pay more attention to the public functions and the interior functions, but have some related weak intervention in the facade level. Next slide, please. So for the group 3, they choose the same side of the group 1, but they extended their area a little bit to the north and the south. Then they found that the most important studying and the valuable studying is to regenerate the public space systems. So they pay more some attention to the connectivity, quality of the public space, and the lower floor area of the high-rise buildings. Next slide, please. So in the level 1, in order to construct a good quality and high connected public space system, they have a different strategy in different parts. They build a vertical pedestrian system along the major street in the north part and a vertical parking system in the west. They also introduce the concept of community gardens. So in the level 2 of the structure, they introduce a very light and transparent structure systems for integrate with the community gardens. So they have a very weak intervention in the facade level and the interior level. Next slide, please. So this is some perspective and design diagram of their strategy. You can see the section on the top of the slide is the public space systems along the major street and they are a kind of transitional space systems and sequence of the space systems from the major street to the inside of the neighborhood. Next slide, please. So the conclusion of and discussion is that the 3 group of students, although they was introduced the same method and series, but they have a different strategy and focuses on their side. For the group 1, they have very strong interventions in 4 all levels. For the group 2, they have kind of a median intervention in 4 all levels. But for the group 3, they have strong intervention in the group 1 and group 2. Next slide, please. So the final conclusion or the major finding of the paper is that the open building theory and the level strategy is targeted to adapt the desired needs of the residents and the uncertainty of the society. But the method itself, when we apply this method and level strategy to the design course, we found that the method itself is also flexible and can be applied in different circumstances of the design targets. So that's my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. And is any questions here about Dr. Wang's presentation? Or any advices or opinions? Okay, because of the time, we just move to the 3rd presenter quickly. And if there are any questions, we can have a discussion after the 3rd presentation if we still have time. And we come to we come to the 3rd presenter, Miss Ruihong Yan from Harbin. Please.
Hello. Can I hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And
yeah.
you can give this presentation share.
Okay.
Can you
see my slide?
Yeah, we can see your slide, but it's not full screen. Can you give it to the first full screen?
Okay.
Okay, you can start.
Hello, everybody. It's my honor to share with you something about the current buildings in China, and this they're just about the data and database, walking to the existing housing and the update design. Yes, it's my personal information, and if you have any questions, you can contact me. As we all know, the sustainable development of housing is a certain goal, and the digital age has arrived. So, where will the existing building one huge monster go? And look at this page, multiverse. We can know first appeared in science fiction novel Avalanche in 1992, and there have the different definitions, have the different times. In 2020, the virtualization has reached a critical stage, and the epidemic has hastened the creation of the new technologies and the formation of the non-contact culture. At the same time, architecture and scientific research in solution were also starting digital twin and metaverse. Many companies in China are starting to use digital twin visualization to check the design, plan the production and the production method and improve it. Most of them are at the stage of data collection. Yes, this page is the existing housing situation. Chinese city has grown from incremental to stock, from extensive to refined, and they will continue to evolve. It means that against the backdrop of the stock era, building designers' work is to resolve the problem that appears in stock buildings in the current era. So, what are their difficulties? And we all know the buildings want to be long life. The separation of the system is the work that must be done. But this isn't happen in the past work. It is impossible to simply to replace the failing system over time. Next one, and subsystem classicals is unclear. And the resident can't update freely. The third, traditional drawing can only be used by professionals, but the major of the users always not. Yes, on the above three questions, we have do some research. Researching city dwellings with Harbin as a case study, find out the house current situation and make some statistics. Then evaluate how many space is flexible. The result of the evaluation are shown in the figures. Yes, the most important part of the current stage of this research is how parts that already is in the house are classified by subsystem and used to guide users to participate in the design of a house up to date. On the other hand, using the database as a tool to connect designers, residents, and the residential operation, and the maintenance managers. Everyone can easily see the information they need. It solves the problem that traditional drawings are hard to understand and the residents can't take part in. Just take update design as an example. Designers and the resident can participate in design stage. The designers spirit the system and the users participate in updating the location and the product selection, or they can install it by themselves. I will show you a video to help you understand our digital platform better. Is it working?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, every door, all they can. Could you see the video?
Now we still cannot see it, but actually you can.
Yeah. Oh no, this is.
Yeah, actually, if you have file.
Oh, maybe do you have any questions? Wait a moment. Okay, let's begin. Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay. Management Center. Yes, they have 5 entrance for designers, government, real estate, resident, and management. Yes, it also has more than 760 cases have been resolved. Yes, it also includes basic information, statistics, classification engine, and 3D math model data. We can see everybody illustrate information is very clear and easy to get. At the same time, an information visualization analysis model age is being done. Yes, this enables us to gain a better understanding of individual buildings updating. Okay, let's begin. We can say we call it. Yes, it's just about the plan to come. And yes, this is my the end of my talk. And if you have any questions and if you want to know more, you can send me an email and I will do my best to answer it. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much for your speech. And we learned a lot from this kind of data-based, how to say, software. And it's okay. And is there any question here about Miss Yan's speech or anything you want to share? Okay. Seems no questions. And just now, the second presenters, is there any questions here now? Also, the first presenters also. Okay. Okay, I see the dialogue here. Okay. Okay, thank you for thank you for Mr. Wang's. Thank you for Mr. Wang's advices, and thank you for Dr. Wang's. Okay, thank you. And I suppose there's no more questions here. And if there's no more things you want to say, I suppose we can stop here for this session, come to an end. Is there any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your participation in this session. And we have more sessions from now on. And if you have any interested areas or interested sessions, you can come. Thank you very much. Thank you.